Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Dace. I'm a student at the University of San Francisco and presenting this as part of my physical activity and aging class. I will be presenting on something called forest bathing, focusing on the benefits of forest bathing for older adults. I was maybe 15 when my aunt stopped the car in the middle of a road trip, looked at me and said, "We should stop for a forest bathing session." I looked at this woman with confusion and curiosity, but her ideas are normally fun, and I'm always down for an adventure, so I went along with it. A few minutes later, we were standing in the middle of a grove of trees doing a meditation like exercise. She explained to me that taking this time to be one with nature was important for one's well being. My 15-year-old self nodded along and continued to humor her every time she suggested a forest bathing session thereafter. Recently, I read a book that mentioned forest bathing and realized that it was, in fact, a real thing and not something my aunt had made up on her own. Therefore, I decided to look into whether or not it has benefits for older adults, and it seems to have shown that it does. But before we get into that, let me actually explain what forest bathing is. According to an article in the Time magazine called "Forest Bathing is Great for Your Health, Here's How You Do It," forest bathing is a Japanese practice. In Japanese, it's called Shrenren Yoku. Shrenren meaning forest and Yoku meaning bath. Furthermore, meaning taking in the forest with your senses. It has been shown that forest bathing allows for a release of stress and is therefore good for your health. Due to more and more time spent on technology and within cities, people have less contact with Mother Nature and an increase in stress. This increase in stress is thought to be due to a direct relation with this decrease in time in nature. Taking this time to forest bathe has shown serious decreases of stress and allows people of all ages to find relaxation. So the question is, how does one forest bathe? Find yourself a spot in nature, in the trees. With no technology, begin to explore. Walk aimlessly, follow your senses. Let your body and mind be your guide. The key is to use all five senses: your ears, your eyes, your mouth, your nose, and your hands and your feet. There are many ways to go about this. It can be made your own as you go. It is important to do what you're able to, but rest assured anyone can do it. To name a few activities that can be performed during a forest bathing session, this is not limiting, just some ideas. You can walk, hike, sit. You can do yoga, tai chi, you name it, it's yours. Just taking the time to be one with nature, with the trees, can be very beneficial. And so, as long as you have the trees and you can find your way to them, you're set. Go off and forest bathe. The specific article that I chose for this presentation was out of the New York Times. It was called "An All Walk Might Do Wonders for Your Well-Being." It was written by Gretchen Reynolds in October of 2020. In this article, a study was done by a group of researchers at UCSF, and it was analyzed by Gretchen Reynolds. They wanted to see the effects of all walks on older adults. The adults in the studies were all in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. They used a previously selected volunteer group and had a control group that walked 15 minutes outside at least once a week, and an all walk group that was to cultivate awe as they walked. They also did 15 minutes at least once a week. The members were to take selfies of themselves on their walk and submit them to a database. The researchers overwhelmingly saw that the people who participated in the all walks looked happier and more excited than those who did normal walks. Also, they saw that those who did all walks consistently had interesting and big backgrounds, while those who did not do all walks had the same backgrounds over and over again. Those who did the all walks also reported feeling calmer and de-stressed, while those who had just walked consistently reported thinking about what they had to do for the day, which caused them stress and did not decrease the stress in any way, but instead increased it. The article explained that taking the walks while looking for things that would cause awe made it so that you were focusing not on what was going on inside your head, but rather the world outside of your head. Looking for awe around you gives you appreciation for the world and nature, and it takes away from your own problems. The article also mentioned that this activity was great for current times, as it is something that can be easily completed with the pandemic, as it can be socially distanced and get you out of your home when so many people are confined to the inside of their homes for work and or safety. An all walk is similar to forest bathing or could even be done through forest bathing if one finds their ways to the trees. And Anne Lorrimore, at 85 was the oldest woman ever to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the tallest mountain in Africa. She contributed most of her success to her time spent in nature, due to the fact that being in nature allows for less stress and can even boost the immune system. She did the hike in 9 days, and after the fact, she learned that she had completed the hike with multiple broken ribs from a fall previous to the hike. She knows not everyone can or wants to climb the 19,314 feet of Mount Kilimanjaro, but believes everyone should spend more time outdoors, as it is, and I quote, allows for a fit body and a spirit. The article from Senior Planet by AARP that highlights Anne Lorrimore's story goes on to explain that a great way to get out in nature is through forest bathing. Ben Page, who is a forest bathing guide, explains that forest bathing has greatly increased in popularity for the older populations recently, as it allows people to be in nature on their own terms. Forest bathing has no great expectations or requirements. It allows for people to do what they want in nature as long as they are appreciating their time and surroundings, which is why he says it is perfect for older adults. So, why should older adults forest bathe? Well, for one, because it is fun. More seriously, though, older adults are at a greater risk for sedentary lifestyles. Due to risks or fear of falls, many adults end up sedentary, older adults specifically. They stay in their homes and do activities they are comfortable with, mostly staying seated. Older adults are often also isolated and have greater risk for depression, loneliness, and also suppressed immune system. The benefit of forest bathing for older adults, first and foremost, is that it gets them out of their house. As Ben Page explained, older adults can forest bathe at their own comfort level and pace. He explained that he's had people over the age of 80 join him, and that people have even brought their own seats and or used walkers with seats during their forest bathing sessions. Forest bathing is very accessible. You don't have to go deep in some woods or on some intense hike, but rather you just need to find some trees and explore and observe. While you don't necessarily need to be super active while forest bathing, it can open the door to new activities. Finding a way to enjoy nature and be outside can help older adults find an active option they enjoy. While walking isn't necessarily enough to be an all-around active person, it can be a great start. Also, as I've mentioned, forest bathing is an anxiety and stress reducer, which can make people feel happier and be more apt to participate and try new things. It can also help the immune system, as anxiety and stress can weaken one's immune system. Finally, forest bathing can serve as a sort of cognitive dual task activity. While forest bathing, one could look for green things while walking or pick up rocks, for example, which could be a dual task activity to help challenge the older adult, as these are often areas where older adults struggle. So, while when I was 15, I thought my aunt was speaking crazy talk when she asked me to forest bathe, I can now assure you and myself that it is worth the time and energy. An older adult could greatly benefit from even 15 to 20 minutes of forest bathing, even if it is just sitting among the trees, for the stress and anxiety reduction alone. Here are my references. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. Go find a forest to bathe in.